you're thinking about moving the family to the greater Phoenix area, it's a little scary. You don't know where to start. In this video, we're going to tell you the 5 first steps you have to make if you want this to be a successful transition for your family. So don't go anywhere because we're going to get at it right after this. Hello, this is Sheryl Willis over at the Real Agent Now group right here in Phoenix, Arizona. And if this is the first time to our channel, you're going to want to tap that little subscribe button and click that little bell so that you are notified each and every time we release a new video. Look, if you are thinking about moving the family, and I did that with 3 children, 3 school-age children that had a ton of questions. And to be honest with you, I didn't have the right answers. So in this video, we're going to get down to the top 5, the first 5 things you need to do. And then you need to pick up that phone, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, days, nights, or weekends, and include the kids in this process. I'm telling you, it's a positive experience for everyone. Just give us a call. We'll set up a Zoom call with the entire family. It's going to change everything. We got your back when moving to Phoenix, Arizona. All right, let's get started. I can't wait to share. All right, let's get started. Number 1, the very first place you want to start is you're going to want to kind of narrow down the area. Now, I know that that's what you're coming to watch my videos for, but this is going to actually help you figure out what area might work best for you. Most, if not all, people that are moving to the greater Phoenix area right now, aside from retirement, yay, are people that are going to be either starting a new job in Arizona or they're bringing their job with them. You want to really take into consideration that the greater Phoenix area is literally suburb after suburb after suburb. It's just massive urban sprawl. If you didn't notice, we don't have much of a downtown with all the high rises where the high density like you see in New York City, Miami, San Francisco, Seattle. We just don't have that. We just keep going out further and further and further and further, like it's crazy. So you're going to want to make sure that you are what they call within the commuter shed of where you are going to be looking. That's only going to narrow down the area, not even necessarily the city. If we take a look at where the majority of the jobs are, let's look at that because our job market is so strong. It's amazing. Look, when the market crashed in 2008, when Phoenix came back, they said, this is never going to happen to our community again. And they made a very conscious effort to be super uber diversified. Arizona is more than just construction now. It is literally every single dynamic from technology, semiconductor, to healthcare, to aerospace, aeronautics, the automotive vehicle. It is unbelievable. Manufacturing, distribution, it is insane. Let's look at, these are kind of old slides because trying to look at current information, it's hard to collect data. So let me first show you this one. This is where it shows you the major companies that were coming to the greater Phoenix area, even really before COVID. A lot of people think, well, I should say a lot of people have experienced massive appreciation and craziness throughout the country as a result of COVID. But let me tell you, I remember working with buyers in the beginning of January, February 2020. And I remember it being insane. This is before COVID, okay? So it only got exponentially worse, but it was crazy bad for buyers already at that point. And here's why. When you look at this map, it'll show you where all the companies, the new companies, were coming into the greater Phoenix area before COVID. And you'll see that there was an abundance of technology companies, software companies, like I said, all these different distribution, warehouse, I could go on, but they're all along Interstate 10 for the most part, and then it goes down into the Southeast Valley. 2 things. Number 1, this part of the greater Phoenix area is like still super crazy hot as far as companies moving there. Like, I mean, like even HelloFresh picked up and moved from California and moved their entire operations out here. Why? Well, first of all, we know it's a whole lot less expensive. In fact, I have a company right now that is moving out of the Torrance, California area. And they are opening their operations not too far from the Phoenix airport, kind of the same area we're talking about right now. And there, it's a small semiconductor company. They, out in California, were paying $12,000 a month rent for their small office space. And out here for the same exact space, actually a little bit more, $5,000. So when you see as a company, even a small company, you see that kind of savings, and then you can pass that on to your employees. Again, better quality of life, et cetera. So one of the factors that companies use before moving out here is not obviously just what their cost is, but what better quality of life can they offer their employees? Because that's happy wife, happy life. Happy employees stay longer. And the number one most expensive thing for an employer is retention. So they are making efforts to retain employees in a lot of different ways. We've seen Meta cut back, like no more free lunches and free concerts, and you can't take dinner home for the family. That doesn't happen every single day. But when you're looking at everything from housing, overall cost of living, again, quality of life, outdoor experience, education, freeway access, airport access, again, Arizona is one of the top states, and we have job growth. It's insane. So going back to this map, you can see how there was a ton of companies that were moving over in Interstate 10 and the south part of the greater Phoenix area, and very prominently as far as technology and higher paying jobs in the Southeast Valley. Now, when you look at what is coming in more recent, we have again, a different map that unfortunately measures things a little bit differently. Why wouldn't they stick with one thing so that you can stay, ride that road with them? Anyways, now you can see even more companies that are moving to the west part of the greater Phoenix area. Now, most of those Western location companies are going to be in the manufacturing, distribution type of industry because of, again, that new freeway access. They're putting in a new Interstate 11. We also have rail system. We have great airports. We have little airports all over the greater Phoenix area, and this is perfect for, again, those companies. They don't have to use international airports, but to make employees happy, they're close to an international airport that can easily get to a lot of different places, literally throughout the world. Now, when we look at this emerging employment center map, this shows you where we're going to see even more and more jobs coming to the greater Phoenix area. I'm telling you guys, what's going on in the rest of the country, it is a little bit happening here, but it's not going to be as catastrophic as it is possibly in other areas. I know that we're already starting to see a return. We're seeing buyers come back out, and it's almost competitive again. It's kind of weird. All right, so if you know where your job is going to be, you're going to want to be within a 35-minute commute from that location. So that is still it's a very large area, but it's going to dictate whether if you're picking Santan Valley or Surprise. If you work at Taiwan Semiconductor, you're not going to be looking at Santan Valley, I promise you. And if you are going to be working at LG down in Queen Creek, you're not going to be looking in Peoria. So you want to kind of narrow it down. And again, 35 minutes. And let me point out, 35 minutes does not equal 35 miles. So remember that 35 minutes does not equal 35 miles. And by the way, here's a quick way you can look, but it's not always accurate. If you go on MapQuest, one of my favorite go-to websites, when somebody says, well, how long of a commute will it be from Queen Creek to Old Town? Let's just say you bought a home in Queen Creek and your job was in Old Town. It might say, 39 minutes, depending on where you're at. But I promise you, rarely will it ever take you 39 minutes. Oh, actually, you know what? On a Monday night around 3 a.m., it would probably take you 39 minutes. So again, that's why you need to give us a call, because we are going to help you navigate through the greater Phoenix area. All right, the number 2 thing you have to do when moving a family, after you've identified that commuter shed, is you need to identify school or schools plus, plural. All right. Let's talk about that a little bit. I have a client that just accepted a new job in the Tempe area. Tempe is one of the most central places. It's awesome because you can go that commuter shed, you could go anywhere pretty much. And at first they were really gravitating towards Chandler, because Chandler is just kind of known for great schools, whether you're using a public school, which by the way, if you didn't know, our student voucher here in Arizona, we have open enrollment. So you can pretty much go to any school you want. Well, I shouldn't say you, your children. So no matter where your child goes to school, you as the parent get to dictate where that tax money is sent. This is everything from public schools, private schools, charter schools, satellite schools, micro schools. Is there a harvest school? Homeschool? No matter where you send your child, you can move that money around. It's the only state in America that you can do this. I'm not kidding you. When California changed some of their academic programs down in the Long Beach area, we received a phone call from a mama in July and said, my kids are not starting fall school here. I have literally 30 days to get out there. We got her in a home and she's enrolled. And oh my God, does she love her friends that she has made. Let me tell you, there's so many success stories and I'd love to share them with you. All you need to do is give me a call and we'll talk about your needs and I will give you some great advice, suggestions, recommendations, and some great stories. All right, so back to the schools. So this particular family, the husband works in Tempe. He was thinking he loved Chandler, but you know what he did not like? The commute. He did not like the commute. The homes that he was looking at in the school area that they had selected, he did not like the commute. And you know why? Because when you're in the furthest south part of the greater Phoenix area, you only have really one direction to go, north. Now you might go northeast, a little northwest maybe, but for the most part, you're just heading north. So he started looking around and they have decided to actually buy in Scottsdale, although it's literally a third less of a home, but he liked the area, they loved the schools, and it just works for the commute. So again, it's not just about the biggest, nicest home, right? It's about the quality of life. And I cannot stress that enough with everyone. Look beyond Zillow, look beyond Realtor.com. All right, so number 3, what is the third thing you need to identify? Time frame. Time frame is so important. Let me tell you, if you're moving in next month, if you're moving next year, or even in 2 years, it's never too early to give us a call. We love getting phone calls. I'm not kidding. And obviously we can't really talk about price because who knows what the world's going to be like in 2 years, right? God forbid if we had another COVID. But my point is we don't know what's going to happen in 2 years, but we can still talk about that commute. We can still talk about schools. We can still talk about areas. And so that's why timeframes are really important, because it will change our conversation and it will probably change your questions quite a bit. This is a great opportunity, no matter how much lead time you have, to also get out to the greater Phoenix area at least once, maybe 2 times over the course of the time frame that you have before you need to actually move out here. Let me tell you, depending on where you're coming from, the airfare tickets to the greater Phoenix area are so darn cheap. It's unbelievable. In fact, we have Super Bowl and America's largest golf tournament happening on the same weekend. How does that happen? But there have been over 100 flights added for the month of February just for Phoenix, because we all know it's going to be absolutely nutty here. Point is it's cheap to come to Arizona. And when you come to Arizona, call us ahead of time. Let us know. We'll get you on our calendar. We'll do a Zoom call first. We'll get you on our calendar. We'll meet up with you and we will create a personalized self-guided tour. And what does that mean? It means that when you come here, if you're coming here for Super Bowl, if you're coming here for the golf tournament or any other golf game, or maybe you're coming for spring training, or maybe you're coming from Barrett Jackson car show. I'm telling you, there's so much stuff going on. So try not to get caught up in the touristy part when you're looking to buy here. It's so funny how when we do finally hear from people and they're like, yeah, I've been out to Arizona a couple times, and but I've only been in Scottsdale, and rarely did I leave Old Town. Well, you know what? Old Town is like Miami. It's like, you know, boom, boom. It's like only going to like Times Square in New York. Do you think everyone lives in Times Square? I know that they would love it, but let me tell you, that's not how the rest of the greater Phoenix area lives. In fact, when we live here, rarely do people go into Old Town unless it's for a nice restaurant. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, or I guess if you're 20 or 22, no, well, not 20, but you know, super young and you want to go hit the clubs and meet yourself a millionaire. Yeah, I'm serious. That's what Scottsdale is about, Old Town. So we're going to keep you on focus, and we're going to actually give you a map, and we're going to send you to very specific areas so that you can see what it's like, not as a tourist, but as a local. So important, so important. We're talking about shopping, and we're not talking about like Gucci bags and Louis Vuitton and all things like that. What I'm talking about is like Costco, or maybe you want to know where Sprouts is, or maybe you want to know where a hairstylist or getting your nails done, whatever's important to you. You know, we have so many indoor kid activity things. Obviously, think about it. In the summertime, it's got to be more than just water parks, which, by the way, we have a ton of water parks, a ton of splash pads, and we have more opening up. It's just going to be insane. We have a small amusement park opening up in Queen Creek. We have a massive wave park that's opening up in Gilbert. Like, it's just going to be crazy. And not to mention, oh my God, the lagoon that's going to be opening up in Glendale. It's like I'm telling you, Phoenix has only just begun. If you look at the top 10 large metropolitan areas, Arizona is the youngest. We are the 5th largest city in America and the newest. We have only just begun. That was a song. All right, so we're going to make sure that you get to experience what it's like to be a local. We're going to have you visit the schools that you're interested in. We're going to also have you visit downtowns, plural, in the area. Because let me tell you, every single downtown has something super cool about it. And just because you live in, let's just say, Glendale, you're not just going to experience downtown Glendale. In fact, downtown Glendale isn't where the fun stuff is. It's at Westgate. And if you live in Scottsdale, it doesn't mean that you just have Old Town Scottsdale. Maybe it's too uppity for you. Maybe that's just not the chill vibe you're experiencing. Well, let me tell you, Desert Ridge is a lot of fun, and so is a hop and a skip just a little south down to Tempe Marketplace. I'm telling you, there's so many different places, and we're going to make sure you get to the spots, even though you're not even aware of them. All right, and number 4, the 4th thing that you're going to want to do is budget. You're going to want to figure out what your housing costs are going to be. Now, I know this is going to be really difficult because you're using the information from wherever you're living. If you are moving from, even California, I'm just going to pick California, or Washington, I'm telling you, your housing, let's just say you spend $3,000 a month in housing, but you also spend extra money on taxes and gas and insurance and all these other things. So when you say, I only want to spend $3,000 in Arizona, then you, believe it or not, that's going to be a discount for you. But you got to give us a call, because I'll tell you, again, everything's moving so fast, and especially with inflation right now, it is really hard to get a grasp on what things cost anywhere. It doesn't matter. My favorite websites, by the way, are bestplaces.net. I love that they have a link that you can compare the city that you're coming from to the city that you're moving to. Now, I would say don't use Phoenix, because Phoenix is probably the most diverse price-wise of real estate in the greater Phoenix area. It's really, really, when people just say Phoenix, it's like, do you mean the really, really, really old, rundown, really high crime rate, low school ratings? Like, do you mean that part of Phoenix? Because you can get a condo there for $150,000. Or do you mean the Phoenix area that's just west of Old Town, that's in Paradise Valley, and you can see the beautiful Camelback Mountain, and the median price there is over $3 million? Those are all Phoenix addresses. So when you type in Phoenix, it's totally skewed. So I would say compare, if you want to buy in Scottsdale, put Scottsdale. If you want to buy in Chandler, put Chandler or Gilbert. If you want Glendale, Goodyear, the rest of them are pretty accurate. All right. So you got to give us a call, because it's not apples to apples. That's all I got to say. And number 5, the most important. It's number 5 of the 5 must-dos before you think about moving to the greater Phoenix area. What do we think it is? Ding, 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 ding. Okay, you don't want to hire me as a singer. We've made that very clear. But you do want to give me a call. That's what number 5 is. You want to give me a call so we can answer your personal questions, kind of help guide you through areas. I'm telling you, you're never going to find absolutely everything on the internet. And what you find, chances are it's really outdated. In fact, look at the videos that you're looking at. If you're looking at the high view numbers, those are probably a few years ago. Let's just say a lot of things have changed. So if you're thinking about moving up to the greater Phoenix area, pick up that phone, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, days, nights, weekends. Give me a call. We will be here. We can't wait to help you move to greater Phoenix area. Even if it's a year or 2 away, pick up the phone. We want to hear from you. All right. Until next time, guys, be safe, be kind, and see you soon. Bye.